All right. This is a real honor for me. I have Ram Rastogi that for me means a lot because Ram, being a payment expert in India, he was one of the first one who really saw the light of what our solution can do and was willing to put his name behind it. So Ram, very welcome to this call. Fantastic to have you here.
Thank you very much, Jochen. When I saw your interview in India in Economic Times, that Bluetooth can be used for the offline payments and solve the problem of connectivity in India. I was thrilled, I just wanted to know more about it, because see, way back in 2007, when I was trying to develop a mobile banking services for State Bank of India, then I was using this Bluetooth technology for downloading the app in that time, particularly Nokia phones.
Yeah. So 2007, that was early. And yes, so you help. I have audience here in Sweden. Listen, State Bank of India. That's the largest bank in India, isn't it? Sort of huge
Right.
bank.
Yeah. So I worked there, that for 29 years, and I started my career with the State Bank way back in July 1980. So it's a 4 decades journey now. So in 2001, I was asked by a chairman of SBI to create digital payments rail for State Bank of India. So the first assignment was that debit cards and ATMs.
Mm.
And then it started moving it to the mobile banking channel. And then the fourth one was that merchant acquiring piece in India.
Yeah.
So in 2009, I quit SBI and joined National Payments Corporation of India. You might have heard about Mr. Narayan Murthy, who is an ex-chairman of Infosys.
Okay.
So he called me. He said, "I want to give you a challenge and develop a real-time payment system for country, and which should be on the rail of ATM business. That
Okay.
means you follow the old messaging platform of 8583. You you have an infra which you have to take it. It is an ATM piece, and you have to take a card rail and create a real-time payment system."
And that was you said MPCI, National Payment
Yeah,
Corporation in India, 2009. You said you left.
nine.
What was that when MPCI was formed? Or was that when you started MPCI in India?
No,
Or
it was in the process of creating NPCI, and State Bank of India was one of the investor in the initial promoter of the NPCI.
okay.
So I was interacting with the NPCI people, and then I went there, and it was launched. But then I had a lot of problems because my competition was with the regulator.
Mhm.
Regulator was
Is
having
that
their own
RBI?
payment system.
Is that
Yeah,
RBI, the
exactly.
regulator, Reserve Bank of India?
Yeah. So they had a national electronic payment transfers. We call it NEFT.
Mhm.
So, and this was not a real time, it was a near real time. The
Mhm.
transactions were credited after 2 hours, every 2 hours.
Okay.
So then they started, and then it was a design thinking converting in IMPS in UPI. Long journey.
Yeah, and
But
but
it's
you,
still,
I know you. There is something before UPI came around, which is the real-time payment platform, which I think was launched 2016. There was something before then in India as well. Is it IMPS? Were
yeah,
you involved in creating
it,
IMPS as well, which is the
yeah,
instant?
it, you,
Yeah.
yeah, you call it AIMS, but we call it IMPS, The AIMS is in a short form, that immediate mobile payment service, we call it AIMS.
Yeah. And what was it used for? And what's the difference between IMS and now UPI that we have in the market?
There's no, you see, when I told you that I keep on improvising the system. So it started, AIMS, on the mobile channel, then I moved it to the ATM channel, then it went to the branch channel, and then USSD also. I tried because I realized and anticipated that a country like India, when you have about 50, 60% feature phone, you need to give them something which works there.
Yeah. So it was
Otherwise,
USSD based in some sense, wasn't it?
so yeah, so I tried working on two. One was the USSD, where I created a platform, because getting all the telcos on board was a very humongous task, because telcos never get aligned with the bank everywhere. Wherever you go, there is always a kind of disconnect between them. And telcos never wanted to get regulated by Reserve Bank of India, because this country payments are highly regulated.
Yeah, they're regulated with another body, because they are regulated as well, but not by the RBI,
Yeah,
isn't it?
but then they're regulated for the technology. They're not regulated for the customers thing. That is free.
Mm.
While in banks, the customers are the masters, so you have to make sure that the money is safe. So I created a platform which is known as the star 99 hash, that you dial this number and then NPCI will try to develop a transaction string for the customer. And this was in 13 languages.
Okay. Okay. So, and I guess it's still just in India, because you have so many languages just in India, isn't it?
Yeah. So it is working very well. Then what happened during the time, out of 13 telcos, 9 telcos, either they closed down their shop or they merged with each other.
Mm.
Like we had Telenor, we had others, and they closed their shops and went away. And the last telco we joined the thing, it is a Geo, and Geo doesn't use a radio channel. They use 4G.
4G instead. Yeah. Okay.
And they have a 52% market share. So virtually I had to close down that platform.
Okay. Okay. But I was really happy, Ram, because we've been talking to India, and I have here as a subtitle for this talk, Indian influencer, because I think you are. Because I don't know how many followers do you have on LinkedIn? It's sort of tens of thousands, isn't it, or something like that? And you have a newsletter.
It's a 47,000 followers across the globe.
Yeah.
And a few there in Sweden also. They keep on writing to me.
Oh yeah. No. I'm promoting you, Ram. I'm telling you, because I actually got from a good friend of mine who works at Swish, and he sent me. That Visa just came out with that they have now experimented with offline payments. You remember the last one of the last sort of newsletter you put out, and he sent it to me, and I said, well, I know, look at this, I've already been out there discussing it on Ram's sort of LinkedIn page, really. And he said, oh, now I feel a little bit behind. I said, well, you have to join Ram's newspaper, get it first from Ram.
So about 6 months ago, I made a presentation to Reserve Bank of India, and I said that you need to have your own cryptocurrency, and all cryptocurrencies are not bad. So the reason being, the Bank for International Settlement, they want their members banks across. They have over 200 countries central bank member there, and they said to mitigate the risk coming from Libra and others, every central bank has to come out with the digital currency of their own, and it has to be known as fiat currency or quasi currency, which is guaranteed by the central bank.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's happening. I actually this morning, I saw a great. I'll send this. I put it here also as with this talk, if I just remember it. But I saw a great talk. It's a guy. This is sort of. I think he works as a consultant for the Central Bank of Canada. And he was talking about, he has been involved in many generations here, and he was talking about whether you should use blockchain or not, because he was arguing that and technology like blockchain, which is very much meant to be a technology where there is sort of no sort of central trust. You get trust in a way from the consensus. That's sort of how, in a way, these kind of blockchain type of technologies built. But if you have a central bank who have that level of trust, why would you want to use a technology which essentially can develop a currency without the central bank, sort of as Bitcoin and others? So it's a very interesting talk, and I think he argues for if you have to bend technology so much in order to fit, maybe it's not the right technology choice to start with. So he was arguing against distributed ledgers and blockchains and looking for, he was a very in a humble way, but I think you will like it. It's very technical, but it's, I think, extremely knowledgeable, the talk.
But please understand, Joachim, that the moment you have digital currency, you have the entire backend payment system architecture will change. It not be remain the same, number one. Number two, how you are going to handle the offline currency exchanges.
Yeah.
Well, countries like India and So the third thing is that you cannot have a currency for wholesale and retail payment the same one. So in India, I have promoted that you should have a different kind of model for your wholesale transactions and retail transactions.
Yeah. So wholesale, that's between banks, basically, isn't it?
Between banks or trade finances, yeah.
Yeah, two tiers. You have the issuer of the central currency is the central bank, and then the distribution and sort of the wholesale will be among regulated financial bodies, and then retail is sort of for you and me using the currency in retail.
So you'll be surprised to know this country has got a very progressive regulator. 2 years ago, they constituted a committee for the financial deepening of digital transaction in India, and where they started working on the same kind of structure what you have in European Union. One is that a GDPR, like a Data Security and Localization Act, which is going to be passed in coming March. And number two, a PSD2 kind of certification structure where the all the fintech can be also certified and bring back to at par with the bank and open it for the open banking concept.
To be more innovation and more drive for all that. Yeah.
Right. And they have also started having they have created a sandbox where the first sandbox cohort went against for the retail banking, retail payments, offline, NFC, and other thing. And the second one is coming for the international payments, remittances. And third one is coming for the lending. Now, it's a good opportunity for fintech like Crunchfish, because you are not a whole line of technology provider. You are connecting the dots. You are mitigating the pain.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've, we started with talking about connectivity. We certainly was the pain, but now in the pandemic, whenever the sheer volume of transactions happening, I think that was you put out an article that, and I really like that, Ram, that you so clearly describe that. How about, try to mitigate the server pressure by a two-tier settlement process, one offline and then one online. It was kind of fun because I sort of, you mentioned me in your post, and there were a lot of people there, back and forth. Some people say, "Are we going backwards now?" or blah blah blah, and I had to go in and explain. And I don't know, I probably have 15 comments in your comment thread. But then a couple of weeks later, Visa came out, and said we are experimenting as well. And I just said yes. Now it's not only Ram who sees it, also Visa. And then, but this time, very few actually argued against it anymore. So I think there is a shift that people start to understand that you can do at the time critical moment of payments in a store. Why don't see that as an offline transaction? And then, when the time critical moment is gone, you can settle it anytime, millisecond later or hour later, 2 minutes later, doesn't matter. I think the beauty is just that two-way separation. And I'm glad you saw it, Ram. And I'm glad you were putting your name as an influencer with 50,000 followers behind it, because that meant a lot to me, Ram.
See, I realize this problem, what is happening. The payment is the last leg of the entire value chain. And when you say as a pay and we go and say push the pay button, there are about 14 sets of happening one by one to complete the transaction. If one of the step is missing, your payment gets failed.
Yeah. exactly.
a
Very
country like
sensitive system.
India, yeah, we have about 24% decline, which is technical in business.
Mm.
And if the government is talking, if the NPCI is talking about 1 billion transactions a day, that means you are going to have 24% of 1 billion decline. That means disgruntled customers. Then you have a
Yeah,
reconciliation issue.
that's
You
just
you
huge.
cannot take it.
There's a huge number of. I think you have more declines in those numbers than Swish in Sweden makes in 5 months
Total
in
transactions.
successful transactions.
Right. Then I was part of the Niti Aayog. There's a planning commission body in India, and I'm party to that. So we are creating a blue sky vision for payments in India by 2035.
Okay.
So I made a presentation to their parliament and told them, I'm not worried about the new numbers. I'm worried about whether we can sustain these new numbers.
Mm.
And then I told about the banks, because the banks, the technology, the main core banking system is provided by a couple of people. They have provided the software, but the hardware is not being upgraded. They
Okay.
do not have even the load balancers. The RPO and RTO is not even 99%.
Mm.
But if you're fighting with a system which has got an IPO RTO and 95.9, how are you going to say? And the same thing is happening last 2 months. The technical decline is more than 8 to 9%.
Yeah.
Banks are not ready. We have not told them to get ready.
Yeah, and look at it right now. As I think we in October last year, 1 billion transaction. October this year, 2 billion. But you're letting on WhatsApp, as you have been writing about as well in your excellent newspaper or newsletter. WhatsApp, 500 million have that on their smartphones. And if you put 500 millions on, I know they're going to stage it and only 20 million are allowed right now. But you're not going to have 2 billion transactions. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 billion transactions quite soon. And if they're not coping with 2, how can they cope with 5?
If you do the things smartly, I can promise you we can have 1 billion transactions a day in India on UPI.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The maths are very simple. You have 45 million mom and pop store across tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 villages. India has got 660,000 villages.
660,000 villages with
Right.
What do you say? 45 million merchants there, sort of roughly.
46 million merchants.
Okay, 46.
Now, the second thing is that they have only 200,000 branches, all banks inclusive. And we have about 155,000 post offices. So whatever you do, you cannot service more than 300,000, 500 branch villages. Remaining villages, you do not have the basic banking services. So there are two burning problems. One is that how to educate these people for digital transactions, number one. Number two, provide them a basic infrastructure to do and that's why I started promoting mobile banking, because card is a king here, but card, you need to have infra. So what Reserve Bank of India has done this year, they have created a special fund of 500 crore rupees, which is about 50 billion rupees. That money is only going to be invested in creating infrastructure in villages.
Okay. Yeah.
So that problem is by and large is going to be solved. But then how you are going to educate the people to go to these terminals and do a transaction if there's a problem of connectivity?
Yeah. I think it's
Then
also not just with the terminals. I think it will be, there's also basically P2M, person to merchant, and person to person payments. And I think, you introduced me to ToneTag, which is a very interesting company for us, given that they have, in terms of proximity, how you connect between a mobile phone and a merchant, or basically if you're paying also person to person. As you said, half of the Indians have feature phones, and so that they can't scan QRs, they don't use NFC, they're not using Bluetooth, many of them, but they all use sound. And ToneTag is sort of a sound technology, and if using that as a bearer, but still our digital cash solution, that could be an enabler for the rest of the 500 million Indians here. So we're not just attacking sort of the smartphone market, but also 500 millions that are financially excluded today, which I think is really would be a great thing for the Indian market if we can. But then we need a partnership, because I think we've done a great thing with, as you said in the beginning, we know Bluetooth, which is a similar in a way, sort of similar to ultrasound. You can interact a little bit on a distance in proximity, but ultrasound or sound has interesting capabilities that feature phone can use them.
The problem what is happening in the India particularly, 29% people are number literate. Now 29% people of 1.3 billion, that comes around 35 to 45 million, 350 million people. They only know how to receive a call and how to disconnect a call.
Yeah.
Even then they have a smartphone, they have taken a smartphone for buying a camera or some kind of more storage capacity where they can keep some of the videos and photographs. They don't do anything beyond that.
Yeah.
So basically, there was a study done by BCG, Boston Consulting Group, way back in 1968, that an efficient payment system can increase the GDP of the country by 1%.
Mm.
This study was validated by World Bank, and they have gone back to every developing and least developed country and asked them to digitize their payment system. And that's why that was one of the trigger where the World Bank did some funding and they made them to go for core banking.
Yeah.
Eventually, we need to really find out that how to solve the problem of proximity payment, offline payments. The moment you solve the problem, and this problem you rightly pointed out, it cannot be done by you or any technology provider. It has to be done by the person who owns the ecosystem, like Paytm, like Pine Lab. So we need, because these people are having honest transactions where the MDR doesn't have much effect over there.
Yeah, no, but as you know, we are in discussion with them because we can't. I agree with you. We are a technology provider, but we would love to facilitate if it is against RBI or if it's against Paytm or Pine Labs or any of the MasterCard, Visa, anyone. We're quite happy to play because I think we won't build it alone, but in partnership I think we have an important piece of the puzzle.
Right. So now ToneTag has been allowed by Reserve Bank of India to participate in the cohort and the retail payments, where they'll be announcing the name of by next week or post your Christmas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. When they are going for demonstrating their capabilities to Reserve Bank of India, it's a right time we should also join them and give them various options. That yes, and you are not competing with the ToneTag, you are supplementing them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think that will be the good idea, and I think written to you somewhere also that yes, this is going to happen. That will be a good opportunity directly talking to the regulator.
Yeah,
the regulator is perturbed.
If we can sort of on the back of ToneTag's relation here come in there, I think that would be fantastic sort of. But there's so many opportunities, and I'm just thinking sort of for you, Ram. I know you saw us first because we've gone away now. It's not based on Bluetooth anymore. It was certainly before. It was Bluetooth and we can do offline, but now we become agnostic. It can be Bluetooth, it can be MRC, it could be QR, right. Which I know you were really excited once when you realized that we can do QR as well, which you said, well, that's what we do in India. So if you can do it on QR, fantastic. Yeah. What do you think about future for a company like Crunchfish? What's in your crystal ball? You know, you as you said, you started with State Bank of India in the 80s, so you've been around into the payments area, and you was part of a building payment networks or payment rails in NPCI, and here, you know, you come across us in 2020. So what do you think, Ram?
You have beautiful minds with you, and I salute your energy and the team. I've interacted a couple of times with Patrick Santillini and few others, not much, but I just want to talk to them, have a kind of a brainstorming session. There are a couple of pain points across not only in India, but the Brazil and Latin America and Africa, because I have been talking to various peoples. Pain points are
You work
same.
internationally as well, don't you? You now in your free capacity, because you're not. Yeah, you left MPCI as well. You're not with MPCI anymore. You are right
No,
now.
long back. 2017, I was asked to resign. I mean, it's a government company, so after 60 years, you have to retire from them.
Okay, okay.
So the 14th August 2017, I retired. On 16th August, I got a call from CGAP. It is a World Bank organization. They said, I would like to appoint you one of my consultant.
Okay.
So I worked there. Then I also worked with a couple of consulting company as a subject matter expert. Is it Deloitte, BCG, and few others. I keep on doing telephonic consulting globally to people, particularly from US.
Okay.
They have the pain point. So my only area of expertise is design thinking. So there are certain pain points which I can put it to your team as a kind of challenge that this has to be sorted out.
Yeah.
And these are white label solutions which can be taken by anybody, because everybody is facing this problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's a phone pay or tone tag or that matter, you know, Bharat Pay, because it has to be sorted out. You cannot afford to have a decline of 24%.
No, not if you have 2 billion transactions. That would mean
And
500 million
yeah.
declines a month.
And the second thing is the 52% transactions are the micro payment, which is less than $2.
Yeah.
You can't expect people here to pay 15% interchange. They're not even willing to pay 1%.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're buying a piece of bread, you know, in $0.50, you ask them to pay 15%, they say, get lost.
Yeah,
It doesn't suit me.
Rightfully so, I think.
So that is happening. This is the way the things. Some people, because India, let me tell you something more.
Yeah.
India is divided in two parts. We call it India and Bharat. The India is there in the metro cities. They are all educated. They have money, and they are willing to invest in technology. And
Is
there are
that the
about
Indian
32.
part? Is that India, you mean?
That's India, Bombay, Delhi. You know,
Yeah.
we call it metros and tier one.
Yeah.
But they're the remaining people who stays in 660,000 villages, 660, whatever there's the villages.
And that's Bharat, isn't it? Bharat.
That's a Bharat. They don't have even the basic banking services. They don't have ATM. They have to go to 20 miles to deposit a bill. And these are the people in terms of family size, there are 480 million families. And they are making payments. So what is happening today in India? Government to person payment is totally digitized. Yeah. All money which is coming from government to people, it's digitized.
This is the Aadhaar system, isn't it?
Aadhaar based, and then we have other purposes. Government has made it mandatory that we are not going to give you check.
No, it's digitized.
You have to take money in your bank account.
Yeah.
And they have opened, you know, about 400 million accounts during this last 5 years. So this is a story of a billion aspirations. 1 billion people have got a bank account. They have a card. They have a mobile phone, and they have an Aadhaar number, and all are seeded and created a platform. So infra is created. So the only part is that we need to tell them that, guys, now start using your phone. This is not happening.
But to be honest, some of the services needed are not available on some of their phones either. So I think
Which you want you want.
Right now we're not making it easy for them.
No, that's exactly I'm saying. So I also experimented with one more technology, which is not a slim SIM technology. It's a small piece of hardware which you put it on the top of your SIM.
Okay.
There you put an encryption logic and an app.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say that there are various technologies, but their pain points remains the same. How to make the offline payment. So there you can help them in connecting the dots and make a seamless experience.
Yeah, we would love to. Yeah, please connect us, Ram. We'll do our piece, which you say is the one missing. Because I really think we can.
Cool.
I think we've cracked it, and even Visa now are telling the story. So the world is changing and realizing that there is something to be had by having a two-tier settlement, offline and then subsequent online.
Online.
Yeah.
It has to be done. We have to think rationally. We have to come out, textbook thinking or tunnel vision. It has to be a design thinking. It has to be an outer box thinking that what you need to do.
Yeah, I agree. No, but I think you, Ram, I think the fact I think you being in your position with your reputation, I think the value you bring, Ram, is not only the fact that you can, echo what other people have done, but you are part of and actually influencing many people, and not just in India, as you say. You have followers all over the world. So I think your contribution is quite profound if you think of it, because I think you are part of starting a new revelation, because it needs a little bit of a snowball effect. If I'm the only one saying that we can do something, we need someone like you who can stand behind it and be daring enough to put your name behind it like you did. And I really respect you for that, because you were early. Many people haven't really. You can just look at that. I'll put that post on our with our interview, and people will see how many skeptics there were that I have to argue with. That no, we're not taking a back step forward. We are taking leaps and bounds steps forward, not backwards. But sometimes I guess it's hard to understand that, but you need to have a little bit of that design thinking to do that.
But I have a full faith in your technology, your capability, the team's spirit, and that's why I always open the forum very politely in the timeline that yes, Crunchfish has done it. And then I invite people to come and debate.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, I know. And you mean a lot to us, Ram, the fact that you are willing to do that. And I hopefully, if we can just prove this as soon as we can now, I think I would love that India, because I've grown, wearing an Indian kurta today. I know you look very Western in your suit, but I do my best to look Indian. So,
I thought I'm exposing myself to Swedish people.
Yeah. No, I thought the same. I'll expose myself to Indian people. So let's try to blend in. No, it's been brilliant. I really appreciate this. We will air this. This will be the fifth week of this interview series, and we are into the week of payment experts, and you're first one out. I think if I know, I'll look at my board here. On January 11th, we will air this. Great kickoff, because just after the breaks, I couldn't think of a better name to have as the kickoff for the rest of this interview series. So thank you so much for volunteering. It's been lovely.
It's my pleasure also, and I will look forward to opportunity to work with your team and see to it that I can contribute a little bit in that.
Well, you are already, and you're very humble. You're not just contributing a little bit. I think you're contributing quite a lot. So I'm very grateful, Ram. So thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Take care then.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.